What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone. And there are problems ahead of the game against Inter because Francesco Conceição left the national team. He returned to Turin, had medical checkups, and there are some problems. And it's very unlikely that he's going to play against Inter or will be available to start that game because he's not been actually real training at his full potential for the last 2 weeks, ever since that Genoa game, or week and a half, whatever it is. So it's very unlikely that he's actually going to feature no matter what the club will put out there, and that is a problem. But excuse me, that cannot be an excuse for Tudor, because we will talk about in a second. But it is a massive headache. But there's also positive news because Cabal is back in group training. So is Miretti. But we're going to talk about Cabal because there's a big buzz about Cabal, but actually people do not really know what Cabal will offer. I don't think even Tudor knows what Cabal could potentially offer. So that makes it very interesting. Before we get into it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive straight into the headache for Tudor. Okay, so the story is a story. Off the get-go, I want to say that this cannot be an excuse for anyone. If you don't beat Inter, it's not because Conceição is not there. Because if we're being completely honest, Conceição has not been playing well. We know what he did last season at home against Inter, and we all hope he could have recreated that. Excuse me. But is it a miss? It is a miss in the context of we don't know if Zhegrova is ready to start, because there is a lot of talk about, he didn't join the Kosovo national team and he stayed in Torino, but, he hasn't played for quite a while. And, is he up to match fitness and all those things? The answer is no, he's not ready to up to match fitness. So Conceição from that point is a miss because, well, you don't have the fit like-for-like player in that position. Now, when I said it cannot be an excuse, we have other options. And maybe Openda is going to need to do something he doesn't really like to do, but it is what it is. And it's a big ask for a player like Openda because he hasn't trained. I don't think he even met Tudor, to be honest. Maybe you saw him in the hallway when he was signing a contract, but he's coming back today to training and he is seeing Tudor really for the first time and his teammates. So that means he has Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to get to know each other, and then Saturday it's boom, you start against Inter at home, the biggest game of our season, and you make it happen. So that is a big ask, and that is, well, how is that gonna work? We don't know. We do not know. But when you talk about Conceição is out, I've seen suggesting play McKennie, but Cambiasso is out, and apparently Costi is not going to play. McKennie is going to play. So the options are very limited, and it's becoming more straightforward. Well, you're going to need to play him. Unless Tudor is going to do something crazy, and he's like, you know what, we're going to play with two up top. Vlahovic and and Jonathan David, and we're going to switch the formation. But that's also a massive ask. So from that standpoint of view, yes, missing Conceição is big because right now you may have the solutions, but you're going to need to try them out in one of the biggest game of the season, if not the biggest game of the season already. So that is a big ask for Tudor, but it cannot be an excuse. You are at a top club, injuries happen, you have a squad, you have options up front. It's up to you to figure it out. And we also need to be honest, like I said early on, it's not that Conceição is setting the world on fire and we're sitting here and we're like, oh my God, we're missing Kenan Yildiz. That's not been the case for quite a while. So from that point of view, it should not be a big setback in the mindset or going into the Inter game and being like, oh. But I will acknowledge it is a headache for Tudor because he was probably planning Conceição is going to play, and off the bench I have Zhegrova and etc. Right now, he's going to need to retool. He's going to need to fix him because even if the medical checks are pretty decent, he cannot be match fit. There is something, and are you going to take that risk? Because on Tuesday, you already played. The season is long. There's no need to risk players. If he's not fit, he's not fit. You play something else. And if that means Openda getting a debut at home against Inter after 4 training sessions, it is what it is. It's a very long season and you're going to need everyone. Now, that's that. That's the bad news for Tudor. The good news is Cabal is in group training, and so is Miretti's partial training. So Cabal is back in group training. Perin is back, and Miretti will, be back as well, probably by the end of the week. But I want to talk about Cabal. because all summer long it was like we don't need a center back. We have Cabal. Do we know if Cabal is going to be a good center back? Does anyone know if Cabal is going to be a good center back? Does anyone know if Cabal is going to be fantastic on the left? We do not know. We have an extreme small sample size from last season, and if we are brutally honest with that, I don't know how many games it was. Let's say it was 4 for the sake of it. 2 were very good, 2 were very bad, to be honest, you know? And that's fine because he just joined. It's a new team, you know. I'm not, and I think nobody had insane expectations from Cabal. So whatever it was, I think everybody was like, okay, let him settle in. If he plays well, he plays well. If not, well, it wasn't a big risk. It's a big punt. I don't like that the club is putting pressure on him by default because of the stories of we don't need anyone because Cabal is coming back. A lot of pressure, a lot of expectations, a lot of hope, a lot of belief. But what are we believing in? The sample size is not that big. It's more hope that Cabal comes back and he's actually very useful. He's very good. And I hope that's the case. I really hope that's the case. And I will be on and I'm like, oh my God, Cabal is actually fantastic. Wow, what a player we have on our hands. That's what we're missing. He adds something different, etc. I really hope that, you know. So from that point of view, it's a boost because it's an unknown. You have a potentially new player available. It's a new player, to be honest, because we have not seen. It's not like Bremer. We've seen him before the injury for quite a while. We haven't. So it's like a new player for everyone, especially for Tudor and also for the group. You know, a lot of players changed. And even the players who are here, they haven't really played much with him, you know, and didn't really train much with him as well. So from that standpoint of view, it's interesting, but I don't have I cannot have high expectation. You know, I think that's very unfair towards Cabal as well. But that is a boost for Tudor because it adds something new to the squad. It adds a new potential you know, player to the squad, a potential new tactical, you know, solution in game, throughout the game, you know, from the start. I don't know. So from that point, good news and bad news. The bad news, Conceição, but you have options. What makes it a bit worse is you're going to need to figure out those options in a big game. That's that. And 2, Cabala's back, Miretti is almost back, so we almost have quote unquote a full squad available unless somebody injures himself during training or during the international break still. So yeah, it is game day and it is what it is, I guess. I think Inter are missing also a player or two, so Napoli are missing Lukaku. Yeah, they say Højlund, but that was not the plan. They haven't played Højlund yet, really, so they are needing to figure it out as well. That's football. We need to deal with it. It cannot be an excuse. Tudor, you have almost a week now to figure it out, 4 or 5 days to figure it out. You better be ready because as a fan, I think nobody will sit there after a game and if we lost, we're like, it's about Conceição. It can happen. It cannot happen. You cannot lose against Inter at home. We need to win. So Tudor, deal with it. That's, you know, training a top club with expectations, you know. But in the comments, let me know, do you think it's going to be a massive hit? What do you think, excuse me? And what do you think the best solution will be for that game against Inter? Like the video, subscribe, and I will speak to you guys later. Ciao.